Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been wanting to play here for years. I mean, it's one of the most prestigious jazz festivals in the world, right? So I've noticed it seems like there's this tendency now that jazz festivals are hiring funk bands, and sometimes funk bands from New Orleans, to headline and play some of the later slots. So Trombone Shorty's been doing it. Maceo Parker, even though not from New Orleans, but Maceo Parker's been doing it in Europe for years. So I did a few weeks with Maceo in Europe, and that's, it's a good, I don't want to say business model, but it's a good model that some of the
entry point.
Yeah, but it's a good model that some of the jazz festivals have been following, where you want to have something high energy, but you can't bring a rock band in there. So you bring a funk band from New Orleans with horns, so that can kind of bridge that gap. It's accepted by the majority, hopefully, of the Jazz Fest audience, and it's something that can maybe also bring in some audience that maybe the Jazz Fest doesn't always bring in on its own as well. So I think it's a reciprocal thing where it helps expose us to new people. Maybe it helps expose the jazz festivals that do this to new people as well. Because I know, I'm sure that Trombone Shorty is bringing in people that may not have come to some of the festivals that he does, right? So it seems like we're starting to get the call to do some of these, and being called to do Newport. Of course, I read a lot, so I love reading biographies and histories of the careers of some of the most important jazz artists. So, reading Pops and reading about him coming out and to a Louis Armstrong tribute here at Newport, and he was getting up in age and he was in his 70s and he didn't want to play anymore, but he came out and was respected at Newport. And then of course the Ellington at Newport in 1956 with the 17-minute Paul Gonsalves solo. And there's so many great moments and historic happenings that have happened here at Newport, and it's great to be invited here to play and to be a part of it. Well, from my understanding, reading it in Duke Ellington's biography that just came out with Terry Teachout, the lady, Elaine, and I'm going to space on her last name, but she was going, supposedly, if I'm remembering correctly, she was going through a divorce and she was just blowing off some steam, and she stood up and started dancing. Ellington saw this, the crowd started getting excited, they started clapping and egging her on. So Ellington, he reacted to this, so he just kept Paul going. And so it just kept swinging harder, and the energy level kept getting higher and higher and higher, till the whole crowd was whipped into a frenzy. So when you hear it on the recording, it's remarkable because you can hear the crowd just getting higher and higher energy, and it seems like it's just the music is so compelling, which it is, but it was becoming more compelling because Ellington was egging them on, because the whole audience was getting more and more excited by visually what was happening that you can't see on the record. So yeah, that's a very interesting happening that happened here at Newport, and that relaunched Ellington's career.
Yeah.
That live record and that performance, So, Ellington even was quoted later as saying, "I was born in 1956 at the Newport Jazz Festival," because he really, I think, he saw such a resurgence in his career that he felt like he got where he got later in his career because of that, Stanton Moore.
So Stanton, what was your first musical instrument?